Hello and a very good evening. I don't really care who says what, but for us, the tagline is simple. ना भूलेंगे ना भूलने देंगे. शायद किसी ने कहा था ना खाएंगे ना खाने देंगे. Inspired from that, ना भूलेंगे ना भूलने देंगे. And thus we are back to the same visual. The visual of 17th of June 2024. The visual of the horrific train accident of Kanchenjunga Express. A train that was hit by a goods train from behind. And thereafter, we know as a matter of fact, 10 people lost their lives, many people have been injured, people have received compensation, but फिर भी we say, ना भूलेंगे, ना भूलने देंगे. And thus, we have accessed the internal report of the Indian Railways, the report which has been filed by the Safety Inquiry. Now, the Safety Inquiry Commission of Railway Safety, they have done their own inquiry and they have filed a report. Now, this investigation has been done by the Safety Department of Indian Railways. And whatever they have drafted here and documented here is their own assessment. Thus, it's safe to say this report is an internal report of Indian Railways, a report that the Safety Department have filed on the Kanchenjunga Express accident which happened on 17th of June. Now, the report has been filed on 12th of July 2024. 12th of July 2024 is the date when the report has been filed. Now, this report, as I said, has been filed by the Safety Inquiry Department of the Railways. Let's move on to the first page. Now, the first page shows you the symbol of Government of India, Minister of Civil Aviation, Commission of Railway Safety, and this has been filed by the Chief Commissioner of Railway Safety. So this report has been filed by the Chief Commissioner of Railway Safety. All right. Now it basically gives you initial details as how did they do the inspection, as how the person has come down from Delhi to New Jalpaiguri, then has gone through the entire inspection procedure, and then has spoken to so many people. All of that had been documented, and it has also cited preservation of clues and evidence. Now, in this particular preservation of clues and evidence, why is this important? Because after an accident happens, you have to preserve evidences so that you can do the investigation at a later stage. And that's the reason before jumping the gun, because remember when the accident happened, be it in the case of Balasore train tragedy or in the case of Kanchenjunga train tragedy, the attempt had been to make a blame on a human being and make it look like a human error. Now, this report would give you much bigger a sense as whether this is a human error or something more. Wait for that. And that's the reason every page of this report is important. It's an exhaustive report. Don't worry, we won't give out every details in one go. But for now, to begin with, preservation of clues and evidences. It says, out of many things that they have found, speedometer records of the two electronic locomotives, that is the Kanchenjunga Express and the goods train, were preserved and retrieved. VCD of the loco, which is the goods train here, of a container was retrieved, and its analysis was submitted jointly by the Railway Department and other agencies. However, the CVVRS data for both the above locomotives is not available as the device has not been fitted with the engine. Now, what is CVVRS? It is like crew, voice and video recording system. We have not invented this. This is as per the standard procedure, like you have a black box in the railways, in your flight, in an aircraft. Similarly, the railway is trying to upgrade the safety system of its entire locomotive, had decided there would be CVVRS, which is crew, voice, that's what you talk, and video, like when two pilot and the co-pilot are there, the kind of conversation they have and what they do, everything would be recorded, and it's more like a sacrosanct black box, which if being retrieved after the accident will give you a fair idea as what state they were under, why this accident happened, and what was the moment right before the accident looked like. That was not there in the engine of the goods train. That's one. Second of all, let's move on to page number 4. Now, the page number 4 says, now it fairly confirms that the automatic signaling system was not working. What you have reported from day one, the automatic signaling system was not working, and the entire the stretch between Rangapani and Chaterhat, in between where the accident happened, was operating on automatic block working system. So when there is automatic signaling system doesn't work, you have to rely on paper line clear ticket, like paper signal, and the entire signal stretch was then operating as a block. Like the entire block, the signaling system has failed. So there is a standard operating procedure that you have to follow in entirety for the entire block while you are giving clearance to your respective trains. Understood? Now move on to the next thing. It says that Rangapani and Chaterhat section in double lines, that is down and up, with automatic block working system under Katihar division of Northeast Frontier Railway in West Bengal state. Katihar division is having automatic block signaling system for a total 65.28 kilometer, comprising of 8 stations and 7 block stations. Down automatic blocks section between Rangapani and Chaterhat includes 9 automatic signals between the advanced starter, and there are signal details. It says that the train, which is the goods train, departed Rangapani station at 8:44 a.m. on paper authority, which is T/3693B and TA 912 at about 8:50. Train down was traveling at a speed of 78 kilometers per hour on downline between Rangapani and Chaterhat section. On seeing the train number down 13174, that is Kanchenjunga on the same line, the loco pilot of the goods train applied emergency brake, but resulted into rear collision with train that is Kanchenjunga Express at kilometer 10/30 at a speed of approximately 40 kilometers per hour. To explain it in a layman's language, when the goods train, now please remember, the Kanchenjunga train was stationed, it was standing, it was static, and from behind the goods train had come and hit it. Now, both the trains had started from one station, which is the Rangapani station. That was the last station they had left. And that was the last station from where they were given the paper signals as clearance to leave that railway station, which is Rangapani station. Now, after the Kanchenjunga Express left the station and moved ahead and went and stopped at a point, from behind came the goods train. Why did the goods train come and hit it from behind? The assessment is the goods train was running at 78 kilometers per hour. That was a high speed. And when the goods train had seen the Kanchenjunga Express standing right in front of it, it had pressed emergency brakes. And even after pressing the emergency brakes, it is not like a shuttle brake that you would stop and halt immediately. The speed reduced from 78 kilometers to 40 kilometers per hour, and that was the last speed with which the engine of the goods train had hit the Kanchenjunga Express from behind. Now, it talks about number of people injured, the ex gratia amount which has been given. Then we move to other very important aspect. The other very important aspect is when the emergency brake was pressed, how was the condition of the brake? Was the condition of the brake of the goods train in good condition? The report says that the goods train engine was commissioned on 10th of March 2024, and the last scheduled inspection was done on 19th of March 2024, and it was due again on 20th of June 2024. When did the accident happen? The accident happened on 17th of June. So basically the report is saying the engine of the goods train was in good shape. It was not due any kind of a test. There was nothing due as far as the engine is concerned. And it says it had gone through its scheduled check on March 2024, and the next was scheduled for June 2024. That is 20th of June 2024. The accident happened on 17th. It is a new loco and not due for overhaul, which means the engine is a new engine and it was not due for any overhaul. What was the condition of the brake? Very important. The brake power of 100% has been certified for train, that is the goods train, and it was valid up to 9,000 kilometer or 30 days, that is 15th of June 2024, whichever earlier, and revalidated by the section senior engineer on 16th of June 2024. This revalidation of BPC was 95.6% of the original brake power, valid up to the base depot and only with the original BPC, which means the brake condition was not 100%. Now, the brake power of 100% was certified on 17th of May 2024. Follow the date, please. It will be easy for you to understand the chronology. On 17th of May 2024, 100% brake power of the engine was certified. All right. Now, it was valid for up to 9,000 kilometers or 30 days. That is 15th of June 2024. So, this was valid till 15th of June 2024. Now, after 15th of June, on 16th of June, it was re-evaluated and revalidation led to the result of 90.5.6%, which is less than 100% of brake power. And that of original brake power valid up to the base depot, which means with that you can actually go back to your base depot, but that engine was operating as far as the goods train is concerned. However, no record of brake power of the unaffected portion was taken after the accident. What was the condition of the brake of the engine which had hit Kanchenjunga Express from behind, that can only be analyzed when you do the post-mortem of the brake. When somebody dies, you do a post-mortem, right? To understand how that person has died. So if this engine had been the murderous engine which has gone and hit the Kanchenjunga Express from behind, then this engine is subject to a post-mortem so that you understand what was wrong, whether this engine was drunk, whether this engine was faulty, whether some part of the engine was faulty. As far as the brake is concerned, the report is saying that no record of brake power of the unaffected portion was taken after the accident. Why? Why? Why wasn't the unaffected portion of the brake of the engine collected to realize whether the brake was in good condition or not? Imagine you are driving your car and your car has a disc brake. You know, right? There is something called disc brake. Or on your bike, let's make it simple. On your bike, you have something called disc brake. The moment you press it, your bike immediately halts. At times, it can do like this. It can do a volley, but it will come back. That's what you call a disc brake. Now, that disc brake would function in its entire capacity when the brake condition is perfect, right? I'm not saying that there is a disc brake in train, but I'm saying that the brake condition is very much important for the smooth operation of the engine and the train, right? So if the brake condition was not 100%, which is already recorded, what was the condition of the brake when it was pressed as emergency after the loco pilot of the goods train had seen Kanchenjunga Express standing right in front? What was the condition of the brake? How much it got affected because the power of the brake was not 100% and it was 95.6%. Why wasn't this collected? Question number one. Now, let's move on to the other factors. The other factor, okay. Okay, the other thing that people had doubted and people had questioned, अरे वो लोको पायलट गुड्स ट्रेन क्या वो पिया हुआ था, क्या वो उसने सोया नहीं, क्या उसका कंडीशन था, क्या वो पिया हुआ था, उसके सामने वाला ट्रेन क्या पिया हुआ था. These are common street side, tea stall talks. But in order to answer that apprehension, it says the analysis of breath analyzer and blood test report. Now, the breath analyzer test found negative for the crew of both the trains at the time of sign of duty, which means when both the pilot and the the co-pilot of both the trains, Kanchenjunga Express and the goods train, when they were given the duty and when they signed on the duty, as per the protocol, there has to be a breath analyzer test done. The breath analyzer test of all of them, all the four, came out negative, which means when they had signed on the duty, they were not drunk. That's one. Second of all, after the incident, it is page number 13. After the incident, the breath analyzer test was done for loco pilot of the train, which is Kanchenjunga, and train manager of train number, the goods train, along with station master of Rangapani, because that was the last station they had left, which was found negative. See, an assistant loco pilot of train, that's a good train, was not done. assistant loco-pilot of train number so and so, which is the goods train, was not done. Blood samples were collected for both the crew and sent to the government laboratory, Kolkata, for examination. Reports are still awaited. This is very, very strange. As far as the pilot and the co-pilot of the goods train are concerned, we know that the loco-pilot of the goods train is dead. He is no more. Co-pilot is alive. Now, it says, after the incident, breath analyzer test was done for all of them, but the assistant loco-pilot breath analyzer was not available, was not done. I want to give the benefit of doubt because he himself was injured. So after the accident, he was rushed to the hospital. And that's the reason, जो injured है, उनको आप रोक के तो मुंह में उसको घुसा के आप breath analyze नहीं करेंगे, तो उसको लेके गए hospital में. So I want to give him the benefit of doubt. As far as the blood reports are concerned, it is still pending. So as far as whether the co-pilot and the pilot of the loco-pilot of the goods train, whether they were drunk or not, at this point in time, there is a lack of clarity. There is a lack of clarity. Okay. Whether they were over-exhausted. 2-3 दिन से सोया नहीं. There had been a lot of talks that, because of lack of people available and because there is a crisis of manpower, many people have to stretch their working hours. Here the report says that as far as the Kanchenjunga Express pilot is concerned, the loco pilot is concerned, when he signed on the duty at 7 in the morning at NGP, he had signed on the duty on 17th of June 2024 after taking 40 hours of rest. This is page number 9. After 40 hours of rest, Kanchenjunga pilot was given duty. Similarly, as far as goods train is concerned, the loco pilot had signed on the duty at 6:44 at NGP, which is New Jalpaiguri, on 17th of June after taking 30 hours and 11 minutes of rest. That's what the report is saying, which means in 30 hours he must have had good sleep, and that is expected that he would come back to report to work all fresh. So after 30 hours, he was given duty again, and he did automatic signaling counseling on 7th of May 2024. As far as automatic signaling is concerned, how to understand that, how to analyze that, the goods train loco pilot had done the counseling on 7th of May 2024, and it was again due in November 2024, which means he had fair idea as how the automatic signaling system works and how he should behave with the engine, or he being the loco pilot of the engine. Let's move on. Let's move on to the speed. Now, this gives a very, very interesting data. As I said, the goods train was, when the accident happened, right before that, the goods train had picked up a speed of 78 kilometers per hour. Why is this speed so important? Because when Rangapani station had given the paper signal, the Rangapani station is also supposed to give a caution that, look, I'm giving you a paper signal. The automatic signaling system is not working. So none of the signals would show you the indication as what you should do, whether you should move or not. Thus, there is a standard operating procedure. What is it? You should not exceed the speed limit of 15 kilometers per hour. And this is just not for Kanchenjunga Express or the goods train. All the trains which had crossed even before that, the idea was that in that caution, they will not be crossing the speed limit of 15 kilometers per hour. That is the ideal situation. If that is the ideal situation, the goods train had apparently touched 78 kilometers per hour at one point before reducing the speed to 40 kilometers per hour by pressing the emergency brake after seeing the Kanchenjunga Express standing right in front of it. So what prompted the goods train loco pilot to pick up that speed? Why would the goods train pick up the speed? Here's a catch. Without giving any benefit to the goods train loco pilot, it says, the Kanchenjunga Express was following the rule book to the T. In page number 13 of the report, it says, the train, after leaving Rangapani station at 8:27 in the morning, at 8:33 in the morning, the train increased its speed to 15 kilometers per hour and traveled to 11 minutes before stopping at signal. The other rule says every signal that you find ahead of you, you stop before that. Because the signal is not working, that's the reason, do not take a chance, stop before the signal. And that's the reason it is expected that you follow a speed limit. Do not cross 15 kilometers per hour, because you're not talking about a bike or a car, you're talking about a train, and the train engine with its kind of a horsepower will pick up speed, and the speed would be high. So do not pick up a high speed that you find it difficult to stop before the signal. So the objective is, by maintaining low speed, you are expected to stop at every signal to ensure that everything is clear, the gates are not open, and everything is fair, there is no train ahead, and you thus cross and maintain that speed so that you can stop before the other signal right ahead of you. As far as Kanchenjunga Express is concerned, this train had followed the rule till T. At every signal it had stopped, and the maximum speed it had assumed was 15 kilometers per hour. And the last signal where it stopped was and finally the train stopped at signal A650 before the collision. So it crossed 3 signals and thrice it had stopped, and it had only maintained the speed limit of 15 kilometers per hour. Was it the same for the goods train? The answer is a big no. The answer is a big no. The Kanchenjunga Express left Rangapani station, the last station that goods train and Kanchenjunga train had left before the accident. Kanchenjunga Express had left at 8:33 in the morning. The goods train had left at 8:45. 8:45. So it is like in 12 minutes time, the goods train was given clearance. Kanchenjunga Express was running at a speed of 15 kilometers per hour. And it had already stopped at 2 signals before it approached the 3rd signal and stopped. Just imagine the speed it has maintained and the distance this probably had covered. Not even 2.5 kilometers. Because from Rangapani station, the accident spot was roughly about 2.5 kilometers. So Kanchenjunga was standing there. Now, in 12 minutes time, the goods train was given clearance. And the goods train, according to the report, speed increased to 15 kilometers per hour at 8:45, which means as soon as it started from the railway station, Rangapani railway station, it picked up a speed of 15 kilometers per hour. Then it increased to 30 kilometers per hour at 8:46, which means in 1 minute time, it doubled its speed from 15 kilometers to 30 kilometers. The speed remained between 30 kilometers and 35 kilometers till 8:48, which means from 8:45 till 8:30, 8:48, in 3 minutes time, the goods train had first picked up speed of 15 kilometers per hour, then moved to 30 kilometers per hour, and then it maintained a speed of 30 to 35 kilometers per hour for the first 3 minutes. Subsequently, after that, after first 3 minutes, the speed increased to 78 kilometers per hour at 8:49 p.m., which means from 8:48 to 8:49, in 1 minute time, it had picked up its speed from 30 to 35 kilometers per hour to 78 kilometers per hour and maintained that speed for another 1 minute. And then it suddenly realized that there is a train standing right in front of me, and it had to press a brake. Now, after the train had left the Rangapani station, there is a curve. There is a curve before the line again becomes straight. So that curve is slightly a blind spot, I would say. If you're coming from this side, you cross the curve and then you come on the main on the straight track, and then you see Kanchenjunga Express standing right in front of you. Again, I give the benefit of doubt to the goods train that while taking that curve, it could not see Kanchenjunga Express standing right in front of it. Only after having come on the curve, it could see Kanchenjunga standing right in front of it, and then they have pressed the brake. Still, the question remains, why did the goods train pick up a speed of 78 kilometers per hour? The answer probably lies in this very fact. What is the answer? The answer is, and you would find it between page number 17 and 18 of the report. Before this accident happened, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 more trains had crossed the same signal had crossed Rangapani station, had crossed all the signals which were where the automatic signaling system was not working, and even they were working running on paper signal. They were also operating on the block system. Yet all these trains, look here, these trains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before Kanchenjunga had started on the speed of 9 kilometers, 12 kilometers, 22, 73, 76, 66, 69, 80, 82, which means this train too had violated the speed limit of 15 kilometers per hour. Move on to the other train. Another train had taken speed of 10 kilometers, 8 kilometers, 14 kilometers per hour, 24, 55, 78, 85, 107 and 110. Another train had picked up a speed of 110 kilometers per hour while crossing through that stretch between Rangapani and Chhaterhat where the automatic signaling system was not working. Similarly, there are 3 more trains which had crossed the entire faulty section at a speed of above 15 kilometers per hour of limit. How did they do it? And why Kanchenjunga did not do it? Because Kanchenjunga followed the rule. The other trains did not follow the rule. The goods train too did not follow the rule. I would say safely violated the rule. You know why? Because the station, that is Rangapani station, apparently did not give a caution, form to all these trains. And this is not what I am saying. This is what the report is saying. When you give a caution, and say that you will not cross 15 kilometers per hour under any circumstances, that has to be followed. All these trains had violated the speed limit of 15 kilometers per hour while operating on a paper line ticket, because उनको लगा कुछ नहीं होगा, चल जाएंगे, हमें तो कोई limit दिया नहीं गया, nobody has given us any restriction, so let us cross. One after the other kept on crossing. They all crossed in high speed. If Kanchenjunga Express had also picked up a similar speed, this accident wouldn't have happened. But Kanchenjunga Express was actually following the rule, while the goods train, like the 6 other trains which had also taken the same route, had safely violated the speed limit of 15 kilometers per hour. And this is what the report squarely says. It clearly indicates, from the above, it is noted that although the same authority was issued to the loco pilots of all 5 trains, but different speed was followed while passing the defective signal and thereby taking different time, the loco pilot of Kanchenjunga Express followed the provision of, that is 15 kilometers per hour, and was moving at a speed of 15 kilometers per hour, with stopping for 1 minute at the foot of the automatic signal. However, this pattern was not followed by the loco pilot of 5 speeding trains and 1 following Kanchenjunga Express. Understood? Rule says you should not cross 15 kilometers per hour. But dimag mein ghusane ke liye, and to make it binding on everyone, there has to be a caution given, a caution form. Let's move on to the other part of the report. Towards the end, towards the end, let's go to provincial findings. If you go through the provincial findings, it says non-issuing of caution order as stipulated is one of the many reasons that the report has found faulty, which means the station master, the station manager, whoever responsible, should have handed over that caution letter, the caution form order, along with form number TA 912. It also says issue of TA 912 instead of TD 912 in the case of all signal failure violating the provision. Non-issuing of caution order as stipulated is another reason that they have found problematic. The station master failed to take the signature of the train manager on the authority operating form, that is TA 912, as prescribed in the form. So the role of the station master has not been cleared out at all, and towards the end it says the accident is classified under the category of error in train working. It does not really say a human error and blame the loco pilot who is no more. This is the provincial finding of the report, and the report says that there was error in train working. not an error of an individual. And that's what you have found the most interesting part of this entire report, where it calls it an error in train working and not a human error. It is an exhaustive report, and you might find it difficult to really decode it, to put it in absolute layman's term. As far as the last station, that is Rangapani station, is concerned, issuing the form, that is the paper signal, to both the trains without the caution order is something that the report has found faulty, because the caution order would have been binding on every loco pilot of every train that has taken that faulty stretch of the track where the automatic signaling system was not working. That's one. Second of all, Kanchenjunga Express was absolutely right in following the provision and following the rule, which is 15 kilometers per hour. But the goods train and other trains which had taken the stretch, the same stretch before the accident happened, had violated that 15 kilometer per hour speed limit, because again it is being believed that the caution order was not served on them and it was not binding on them. There are few other findings which we would report tomorrow, and you have to watch, because that report talks about Indian Railways. That report talks about Indian Railways. As basic as walkie-talkies are not available adequately, that the report has found faulty. Why and how they have come to that conclusion, and why that walkie-talkie was needed, again, we will discuss that tomorrow. But for now, the first half of the report and the half of this report highlights, number one, the brake report of the engine that had hit the Kanchenjunga Express, the engine of the goods train, has not been preserved. That sample is not available. Number two, as far as breath analyzer and whether the loco pilot and the co-pilot of the goods train, whether they were drunk or not, something again not known, because that report is still pending. Number three, as being believed that they were not really given proper rest. No, the report says that the loco pilot and the co-pilot of the goods train, they had assumed office, they had resumed work after 30 hours of rest period. It also talks about the speed with which the trains were operating, and how there had been a clear violation of 15 kilometers per hour, that limit. And at the same time, it also talks about the brake condition of the goods train, as how it was not in 100% of its health, because the brake power of 100%, which was certified at a certain time, when it was tested again, was found 95.6%. So far, that's our initial assessment of the report, which does not call it the fault of the loco pilot of the goods train alone. Why doesn't it call it the fault of the loco pilot alone if the goods train had violated the speed? Because it was an error in the way things were functioning, and that's the reason they have called it a problem and fault with the error in train working. Error in train working. How other heads and other departments were equally involved in this error in train working, we will elaborate tomorrow, same time, same channel. For now, thank you so much. And we also want to thank you all for connecting with us. As I said, na bhulunga, na bhulne dunga. Doesn't matter if in Coromandel Express, more than 200 people had died. And in this, 10 people have died. Had it been only one person whose life was lost in this train accident, we would have reported this with this intensity. Every life matters, and we only hope and pray Indian Railways shines up like shining India, like Viksit Bharat. Viksit Railways in Viksit Bharat will make it Viksit Deshwasi and Surakshit Deshwasi. Thank you, good night, and take care.